Noodles. You're probably like, politics is deaf noodles. Trust me, it's going somewhere. Let these sodium clog your arteries. This guy was chastised years ago. Was basically, I think he lost like 99% of his fans. Like he had, I think, millions of subscribers. And literally, I don't know if he created a new channel, but it was embarrassing to the point where he embarrassed himself on the internet so bad that he has a new channel now or whatever. He came back to the internet a little while ago. And he has grifted to being a quote-unquote conservative. And I'm not someone that, people change their opinions over time. I don't get too caught up about it. But when it's obvious that you are just regurgitating things, you change your image, you change what everything you talk about now is about being pro this, pro Trump, or pro whatever you're pro. It's like, all right, man. What you're trying to do is you were trying to get an audience that kind of has a blind love, that unconditional blind love for things, and almost the more rational you are, the stronger your fan base is. And it's obviously, that's what, if you go on the internet and basically you are pro this, you are going to get people on your side just based off a simple belief of who you voted for. When I watch and listen to stuff that's not political related, but I know where their alliances are, where they're leaning quote unquote against, but it does not affect me one bit in what I get from that person. Now, if people just start going off the wagon and, it's like, all right, but you have a choice to just be like, you know what, I'm good. Anyone that's willing to go too deep down this rabbit hole is not really my type of entertainment. It's not really my type of figure that I want to be a part of. But in what he's doing to me, it's really just out of the handbook of creating an irrational fan base. You are not even getting a fan base because of your original thought, your creativity, your actual thoughts, or what you actually stand for. It is just because you want to make people feel like they're a part of something, that they're a part of something, but then you're like just another voice that speaks out of the ass about it. And he went from being like this person that does these, I think he used to do YouTube news and stuff like that, and general current events, and do a little news thing, kind of like Philip DeFranco does. And because he tried to do some failed comedy show where he got destroyed and was publicly flamed from penguins and stuff like that, now you were trying to go a safe route where you have a security blanket of, yeah, there's going to be people against this, but no matter who I am or my past, if I just say this is what I'm for, people will, be on my side about it, regardless of their personal beliefs about my corniness and grifting and what I'm trying to do. And that's why politics, to me, it exposes the most people just wanting to be liked. If you want to be liked or disliked, just go out there and speak your political beliefs. And that's why I don't really have political beliefs. And people say, oh, if you don't stand for nothing, you fall for anything. It's like, no, I stand for stuff. But I don't let an individual decide whether I am for or against something. Sure, you should always listen for new reasoning, rationalization, all that stuff. You should be open-minded to change. But some people just change their beliefs and thoughts for their convenience of, there's videos out there of J.D. Vance, the VP for Trump, who said back in 2016, Trump is a fraud, he's a liar, this and that. And then next thing you know, here he is, Now, you could take that people change. People see what happened. It was so bad what happened before. in between Trump's two presidencies that we see that it made people change that much. It's like, all right, if your spouse, if your partner cheats on you, has a baby with a whole nother man, is that going to make you completely hate women and just start taking up the ass of self-hatred? I don't know. I'm not here to judge. I know that's comparing apples to bananas. But it's Donkey Kong, baby. Taking Super Smash Bros. To a whole new level. There it is. I had to sneak a butt joke in there. But to me, the Deaf Noodles situation where, like, I don't care that he's falling off. Like, I don't get too mad. Like, I'm not going to sit there and comment on someone like, oh, dude, you fell off. Like, this is just sad and stuff. But I'm watching it, and it's pretty obvious what the intent here. Because I don't really feel like he's developed a full sense of his beliefs. He's riding a train to a fan base again. And I get it, when you've had a fan base, not that I can relate to it, but when you've had a fan base and you're used to just having a parade of people back you for what you do, and then you lose it all. Honestly, I think you crave more of getting a fan base again, regardless of what it is you have to do to get a fan base. You kind of throw out, I wouldn't say your morals, maybe he does believe in this right-wing stuff. I don't know. I think he also is, if he felt at this point in time being on the other side would get him more of a fan base, I think he would do that too. I also think it's a re-imaging, rebranding, and I hate that term. But it's obviously like you basically got cucked off your, comedy stuff and got embarrassed by the internet for being susceptible, vulnerable, being embarrassed at something you're supposed to be good at. So you try to change your image to be kind of hardened, to be someone who's more firm, someone who has more conservative values type of thing. Because maybe you felt like being on the other side betrayed you. And betrayal will make people do a lot of things that are out of character or whatever to be likable again. Like, and when you were so disliked by the internet, I can relate. I had, I'll be honest though, like I had a clip I put out recently and it was flamed. I know you guys can't see the dislikes, but I promise you, it was bad. Like, and I read the comment. People had points, but I'm like, I'm not gonna get too mad. Like, you know what? Everyone's entitled to what they. I didn't go back and forth trying to rationalize them up. Like, I said what I said. I'm cool with it. And that's the nature of the game when you put stuff out in public. You can't sit there and it will be... I don't see the point of hiding comments, blocking comments, unless it's like bots and shit, like, or people trying to promote and sell sketchy shit. But like someone having a comment that goes against because you want a positive, quote unquote, aura of your channel and stuff. It's like sometimes if you're going to say things that are controversial, if you're going to say things that go against the grain, and that, like, hey, this may rub people the wrong way, you got to be cool with the fact that you may rub people the wrong way. And look, YouTube is definitely more of a left-leaning thing because you could see likes and dislikes based off X, Y, and Z. You get a strong, when you are going against something, you are going to get a strong pro or con. Very rarely is it balanced to criticism. And I had that recently. And, then I come across Deaf Noodles situation. I'm like, The difference is, to me, it's, hey, you just keep pushing, keep putting out what you believe in, and be cool with that. I will never change an opinion just because I feel like it's going to give me a bigger fan base. You can change your opinion because, maybe it's like, I took a misdirection that way. Or I changed my opinion because, I just generally have changed as a person. Maybe like, You said something and you're like, you know what? I didn't really display what I was trying to say as well. Maybe it doesn't mean that what I thought my true sentiment is false, but maybe I didn't really go deeper into what I'm trying to say. But regardless, to appease to fans or comments or just, there's a lot of negativity out there. And I think it does scare people from a lot of people's hesitancy of wanting to do stuff in media like podcasting or YouTube or whatever is no one wants to be disliked. Even if they put out stuff that goes against, normal status quo, even they know they're going to put out opinion, they don't want to be disliked. They want their fan base to be people that are just like them. And they don't want pushback. People want to have a like to dislike ratio be 99% to 1. You might put out some stuff and it's 50-50. And, anytime you have that type of extreme backlash, I think what you should do is take a step back and be like, damn, did I put out what I wanted to? And this is just, hey, that's what I think. I'm not mad at anyone that has contrarian views. Because I know if you put something out there, you got to be okay with people not liking it. And that's okay with me. And if you are going to do something like this, you have to be okay with that. And so for Def Noodles specifically, it feels like he's trying so hard to want to be liked again that you have to kind of find a rabid fan base. So right now, that is where the extremism, the rabid fan base is. Regardless of what your political beliefs are, you can't deny that right now, politics, whether you do one side, the left or the right, and I hate that terminology, but it is what it is. When you live your life based off people believing or having your same common of political beliefs, it's a very limited, to me personally, I think it's a very sad way to live. And it really, I'm not saying have a kid with someone that's pro this and you're anti, X, Y, and Z. But at the same time, you got to weigh out. Does someone believe in this one thing? Is it really going to come up in your life? I don't know. May or may not, depend on. Are you going to divorce your spouse because they believe the government shouldn't get extra funding? You think they should? And you think they should? I don't know. It seems a bit extreme. So yeah, for me personally, I think it's like, if you're going to put stuff out there, be okay with the backlash, live with the result, and keep it moving. That's just my personal belief. But yeah,